Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Razovy, and today we're going to talk about Gangsta. Now, this is the Razovy Revive channel, which means yes, you are seeing stuff happening on the screen. It's a couple of GIFs, but to be honest, the visuals on the screen, they don't really matter all that much. The purpose of this video is you listening to my voice, and the visuals, they don't really matter all that much. So today we're actually going to talk about Gangsta. This anime is actually a very good anime. Some people like to compare it to Black Lagoon. I never really got the comparison. I get that it's like the same setting in a way, but it's not very comparable to Black Lagoon in my opinion. But we'll get into that later, to why that is. But Gangsta is definitely an anime that you should be watching or should have at least watched once. Now, what is it about? Should you watch it? That kind of stuff. Let's get started. Gangsta is actually a story about three people. Well, it starts out with two, with actually two men who've known each other for a very long time. They're called Nicholas and Warwick, and these two they have known each other for a very long time and are actually, I guess, partners in crime, sort of. Warwick actually comes from a very rich family, and Nicholas was actually from a very early age was actually the bodyguard of Warwick, and eventually they grew to really like each other and became friends and that kind of stuff. Now, these two, they actually do certain jobs that actually they call themselves handymen, and they kind of fix things that need to be fixed. And I'm not talking about like a broken something that is broken. I'm talking about like if someone needs to disappear, right? They're the ones who'll do so, and they don't care who it is. It could be the biggest crime lord to a small time dealer or whatever. They clean up everything that needs to be cleaned up, and they're really good at it. It's like they're both really good at fighting and stuff. So yeah, it's a really interesting concept to have these two do these things. Now, in the first couple of episodes, I think even in the first episode, these two meet a girl called Alex, and she's actually a prostitute, at least in the beginning of the show. And she they befriend her basically. The actually Nicholas, he protects her from some weird customer that actually treats her very badly, and he protects her, and they decide to kind of take her in and help her out and have her do certain jobs with them. So for like do pick up the phone, keep a record, that kind of stuff, right? Administrative work basically. And besides her, there are tons of different characters, and we will talk about them. But for now, these are the three main characters, with Warwick and Nick being the main characters basically. And it's all about it's a ton of action, a ton of actually also quite some drama is mixed into this anime, which I really enjoy as well. It's a very a grown up anime basically. It's an anime mainly focused at adults, and we don't see that very often. We especially nowadays, most animes aimed at a young audience, right? 15 and below. Like that's the main focal point of most anime, and this anime like completely, doesn't adhere to those rules whatsoever. It's really targeted at an adult audience with an adult story about crime and drugs and gangs. And the tag actually is also seinen, and seinen, for the people that don't know, is actually a tag which aims directly at young adults, mainly young men. So it's a very, I like it that these animes still exist and that they are still produced. And Gangsta is definitely one of those anime that is really good. Now, in this story, we mainly it's mainly separated into two parts. We follow them from their current days, right, when they're grown up, Nick and Warwick, and they do certain jobs, right? They kill people, that whatever. And I'm not going to spoil anything what exactly they do, but that's the main storyline, and it's really good. Like the action is awesome. The characters that we meet are absolutely crazy and really cool. The police is also really crooked, and they take bribes and everything. So it's a really cool concept. But we also have a separate story that takes place in their youth and how these characters came to be. So what I really like about that is that yes, you get this really action heavy storytelling from these adult men, but also their past and what happened and why did they turn out this way? Why Warwick was very rich, so why is he now this handyman basically, right? So it's very cool. And something that I also really like about the show is that Nick, one of the two main characters, is actually deaf. and it's not the fact that he's deaf, that's not what what I like about it, but I like that someone people with certain kinds of, we'll call them disabilities, whatever, they're not portrayed often in anime, right? Also not in manga. Um, I think a deaf person, a silent voice is the only thing that comes to mind. And I remember thinking it was really cool that they actually had a deaf person in an anime, and that this person was not this, oh, oh, we need to be careful with him. No, this guy kicks ass. You know what I mean? So I really like that idea that that it makes them feel real. It makes the world feel alive and actually believable. It's a very nice touch to have one of the characters with a hearing disability, and actually using sign language, and it's very very cool. Now, I think personally that Gangsta is not for everyone. I think that if you are, let's, for example, right, let's say that you are into a battle shonen, Naruto, One Piece, Fairy Tail, whatever. Yes, there's a lot of action in this anime, 100%, but it's not about good and evil. It's not about friendship. It's not at all. Yes, there's a lot of action, but the fun parts that we see in these battle shonen are not to be found here whatsoever. It's very drama heavy, very action heavy, but it's not like good always wins in this anime. In fact, it's most of the times good always loses in this anime. So yeah, if you're into adult theming and into adult storytelling, then definitely this is for you. But if you like the, if you do like action but you don't like the adult theming, then I don't think that Gangsta is for you. It's just not something that everyone will enjoy, I think. However, the characters are absolutely amazing, and if you are into adult storytelling, if that doesn't bother you, in fact, if you like it, there's plenty of characters that will really that you will really like. For example, there's Dr. Theo, who is kind of like, he helps everyone out, medically. Even though officially speaking, that's not allowed because you cannot just help criminals in that case, right? You cannot do that behind the scenes. There's Nina, who helps Dr. Theo. There's also, for example, the Loretta, who is like the a girl, but she's the boss of, or the head of, like, a mafia organization. The characters just are really, really interesting, and I think that especially Warwick, Nicholas, and Alex, the girl, the film, like the prostitute, right, that they take in, it's just such a, the characters are so fleshed out and they're so cool. Everything about this anime is cool, and I think that is the appeal of Gangsta. And sure, not like, I'm sure that you will find flaws with the anime. I personally didn't. I really enjoyed this anime. In fact, it's in my favorite list, but on any list. But I think that you should at least give this one a try. Watch the first 3 episodes. If it still doesn't click, it won't click with you, and that's fine. But I think that after watching the first 3 episodes, you will definitely like it. There's also a manga, and I believe the manga is also translated into English. Maybe not everything, I don't know about that, but definitely a couple. That's what I do know. I do remember seeing the English version of this manga. I'll leave a link or something to this manga. If for some reason I forget, make sure to tell me in the comment section, then I'll do it later. I don't think I will forget, but you never know. So yeah, the manga is definitely also translated into English. It's just, for real, Gangsta is definitely worth a watch, and also worth the read if you haven't, if you're more into manga. I truly believe that to be the case. Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you watched or read Gangsta? And if so, was it any good? Did you like it or didn't you like it? And then, also tell me why that is the case. I'm very curious to engage in a conversation with you guys about Gangsta, because I personally really like this anime. So, thank you very much for watching. I was Razovy. You were you, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.